So, hello everyone. I wanted to share a little bit more deeply with you all about this upcoming retreat that Thesa and I are holding. The retreat is running from the 12th of October to the 15th of October, and we've called it an Eclipse Incubator. And it will be on the 14th of October, there will be the first of 2 October eclipses, a solar eclipse. And there is a second eclipse on the 28th of October that will really be, it will be a lunar eclipse that will really be a continuation of the energy that culminates and what transpires during the earlier October eclipse, which is during the retreat on the 14th. So, for me, eclipses have always been such powerful portals, seeing as all of our work is so deeply embedded within and grounded in the deepest absolute, cultivating deeper and deeper levels of realizations of what we first name as the absolute or the deepest silence. And then as the insight matures and develops and the identity goes through an evolutionary process, it's really a coming home to what we name as the Great Mother or the Dark Mother Void, the source of all creation. So an eclipse is really, it's like a deep bathing of the whole of the planet, or the areas of the planet most affected by the eclipse, of course, but there's this immense flooding in of source energy through that plunge into darkness. So wherever the eclipse is happening, whether it's a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, wherever it's happening in your chart, that pertains to the specificity of the energies that are being invited into this portal of absolute, or this deeper absorption into the Great Mother Void. So, but we can speak in general terms about eclipses, and we can recognize that these are alchemical windows, simply because of that, the flooding in of information, and the invitation for a leap is just so intimately embedded in that, the simplicity of the fact that we plunge into darkness, that aspect of creation is taken deeper into the absolute. So we can harness the energy of the eclipses, we can facilitate the alchemical journey for us, we can take care of ourselves and incubate in a way that can really allow there to be a graceful passage through what can often be a turbulent window of energy, just because of that intense plunge into the deeper darkness. So every eclipse is this immense opportunity for you to move forwards and grow in some way. And it's very special because each eclipse in its specificity kind of only comes around once every 18 years. So the energies of this particular eclipse, I think, arose in 2005. So whatever was happening for you during the eclipses of 2005 and this time, this specific energetic constellation, This is a revisitation of that energetic window. And by nature, actually, are moving forwards, or are being pushed forwards into that evolutionary spiral, like the spiral of evolution. So having an incubator over any eclipse is very is a way of really inviting, because in the way we speak about it in our work is the absolute, or the dark mother, is the midwife of all change, being the source of all creation. So if you're actively presencing the deepest darkness in meditation as a foundation for all being with, and in our work we're being with the somatic experience, and we're exploring the witnessing consciousness and the experience of self, and perception and identity, along with a deep embodiment through the body. But the midwife to the alchemy, the midwife to the healing, and the midwife to all change is that deep darkness. So in a way, it is the darkness that and the deep presencing of that darkness at its deepest purified level, that becomes our incubator for the retreat and for an eclipse window. And so that's what's being offered up and held by myself and Thesa, and by the whole group to an extent. But of course, there's a deep presencing of the purest absolute, the deepest nurturing darkness, the ground of all being, where there's a deep visceral experience and felt sense that all is deeply well. And that is what comes with communion with the Dark Mother. There's this evolving insight and knowing through your whole body and consciousness of the wellness of things, despite what is happening, no matter what intensity is arising for you. So that's our incubator. We're going to be consciously holding and immersing ourselves into that nurturing darkness. And so it's kind of going to be a mini darkness retreat, and we're going to simulate conditions and invite you to do that in your own home, so that there can be some sensory deprivation. You can really plunge into darkness with your whole body and through your inner space. And we're going to be really setting that darkness as kind of as the midwife and the foundation and the home base for whatever is arising for you as you're being with and in the group and journeying through the eclipse. So we're going to have 4 days, but the flow is going to be very let's say very yin. And what I mean by yin is we're going to have an emphasis on silence, spaciousness, surrender, and acceptance and allowance, because the nature of this window carries enough intensity with it that we don't need to go digging on this retreat. We actually need to provide a container for what is being pushed to the surface and what is emerging from the unconscious mind to be deeply felt and seen and included, and just allowed and received, and naturally in doing that within the incubation of the Great Mother or the deepest darkness, there's a graceful unfolding that can be facilitated. And actually, this specific retreat, one of the signatures of it is you actually, there's no room for trying. So one of the qualities of this retreat is it's really being pushed into a leap that you can't avoid and you can't try, you know, a letting go. There's like a deep letting go that's pending, and this retreat is going to be the kind of potentially explosive release of something that has been building up and stuck and not moving, and this is really going to be a kind of catalytic shift of that energy. And so because of that tension and potential stuckness or contracting or explosiveness, however it's appearing across people, we really don't need to, do anything to kind of unearth the material of the unconscious mind. We can just be totally open and available to that passage and provide a safe incubation, potentially in a deep meeting of places that feel very unsafe. One of the signatures of this retreat is, I know Pluto is involved, and whenever Pluto is involved, you have to be aware that Pluto is really kind of the Shiva of skies. Is really a very, it's an outer planet, moves very slowly, carries a destructive, energy, destruction, like as a force of nature. And I've heard an astrologer talk about Pluto as Shiva, and I really, really resonate with that. So Pluto is going to be sort of delivering the kill, in a sense, and I know Saturn and Mars are involved too, in this particular constellation across everyone. So by bringing in that feminine approach of inclusion, surrender, that deep incubation of deep darkness, hopefully we're going to be able to really meet whatever's happening in ourselves and across each other's process, and facilitate a gentle moving through the portal of intensity potentially. And I have to say, I usually with eclipses, I'm feeling the energy weeks before, and so it started actually as soon as I put the retreat information out. I started being flooded by darkness, which was an immense relief to my system, because one of my challenges over the summer has been fatigue, and working with fatigue at a really deep level as pertaining to where the body consciousness is still wanting to open up to the energy that I'm cultivating in what we name as the primordial ground, through the spinal consciousness, which is really our deepest cutting edge of my consciousness work. So there's just been this flooding in of darkness since I put the retreat out there. So I've been happy and delighted at the energetic response to the invitation in my own system. And so we won't be, usually when we run online retreats, we do 3 sessions a day. And because there are people in the States, we're often doing them kind of from Europe, timings from the afternoon onwards, fitting 3 sessions in so that people who are waking up in the morning in the States can join. But we've decided to change the structure for this one so that there's some spaciousness. Hello, baby. This is Akira. She has a lot of love. She's the epitome of yin, actually. So the structure will be quite light. We'll have 2 live sessions a day, and then there'll be a portion of the day which will be different depending on where in the world you are, whether you're in the UK or Europe or in the States. And there'll be a portion of the day that you'll have free, either the morning or the late afternoon, evening. And that'll be your window for self-care, yin practices, to do fasts or body work, rest. You know, it feels good to me because of the energetic intensity, and because of, you know, this is a big portal, and so we really don't want to be adding too much into the pot. We want to be creating a really conscious container and incubation, so we can journey with ourselves, with what's aligning, from a place of really deep listening. So I know for myself, I'll be using that window, you know, to do saunas and hydrotherapy, hot, cold. I love hydrotherapy. My body is very receptive. I've nearly arriving some methylene blue. I'm very excited about exploring the world of methylene blue. And I'm getting in my Chinese herbs that I do periodically. So I'm kind of, you know, now starting to think about, like, well, what does my body, you know, how am I going to use that time, you know, for self-care? And I'm also looking at some specific Tai Chi practices that I might want to do. So the more we kind of step forwards in towards this incubation with this kind of framing of consciousness, it's like a pregnancy and a birth, you know, we're like tending to the space and making sure we have what we need, and really aligning ourselves and our body and our movements to the alchemical potential, and saying to the universe and to life, you know, I'm up for it. Like, show me, and let's go there. Wherever there is, you know, I want to see, I want to go there. And so in preparation, you know, I'm noticing, based upon knowing my astrology and what kind of places the eclipse is landing for me, I can already feel in my field things in my environment that are kind of been in my immediate kind of environment that are, you know, related to those themes. They're starting to stir and go, hello. We're part of the material that's like old and not moved and shifted, and so my practice is, because I'm already feeling the eclipse incubator as this deep foundation of darkness, it's kind of flooding in. I'm kind of moving in and out of that foundation. So I'm in the darkness, I'm bathing in the darkness, and then I'm out in something that's calling my attention, that kind of has this flavor of chaos or demand on my energy in a particular way. And so it's sweet because it's like a bridging, you know, like bridging the deepest aspects of ourselves, of true nature, of the source of all things, and the kind of material expression. So I advise you to do that too, and you don't need to be on a retreat to do that, although we would love you to join us. I'm very excited about us spending many of the lives in darkness in our own homes. Whenever I first introduce, we have in our second course a meditation that I do, and I usually get everyone to turn off all the lights in their room, put a blindfold on, and it's really a deep immersion into the absolute, and then we bring in light and then go back into the darkness and light again. And that meditation every time, just it's so impactful, actually. Kind of, you know, I mean, it isn't the equivalent of a darkness retreat where you're in darkness for days on end, But when you're in a meditation and you really like allow your whole body to be, allow there to be an absence of light, it's really, really powerful. So I'm really excited about the whole group doing that, and consistently over the 4 days. Theta and I have a system now, over many, many years of holding people through spiritual emergency. Not that we're anticipating in our groups and those who are journeying with us, anyone's going to go into an emergency. In fact, contrary to that, because we prepare so deeply the ground, I'm actually anticipating for many people like a graceful through the portal. We have a system now because it happens. Spiritual emergency happens. I was in spiritual emergency for, nearly a decade. When I met Thesa, I just recently wrote about it in an article. And it can happen to any one of us at any point in the spiral. I mean, it's not about how evolved you are, it's about it's breakthrough terrain. So even the word emergency is just pertaining to, there's a window within the breakthrough where you really need someone to hold you and to support you and to be there. And so that's an aspect of our holding, and we're very clear about that. And we have we keep numbers to a minimum of 10 people so that we can be really attuned to everyone's process. And that's really important to us also from an intimacy perspective, but also just because then if something comes up for someone, we're pretty attuned to them already, and it's kind of, hopefully there's also a relationship of trust there that can just be built upon through the holding. So if you're, I'm saying that because maybe you're already feeling the eclipse and you're already feeling something stirring and you're feeling concerned, and you don't know, like, is this the right place to be? And of course, I'm really happy to talk about that with anybody. This is open to anyone who's worked with us before, even if it's just one session, but you can get in touch with us if you're not sure. We just want to have a sense of who's in the group, because for many obvious reasons, and also pertaining to really having an intimacy with you and appropriateness of the journey for you, and the depth that we're going to, because we really are forging a profundity. There's a really palpable spiritual profundity in the way we guide, and so we just want to make sure that that's aligned for you. And for those that have been journeying with us a lot, it is so sweet, because some people are in groups with us that have been going for many years, and they're, and we have 4 groups on at the moment, and they're all at varying depths. But this container, the beauty of it is the container is wide enough. It's going to be wide enough and deep enough to hold every facet, whatever depth you're in or whatever shallows you're in, wherever you are, it has the capacity. And there is such a gift in having occasionally containers that is not specified to a dimension of consciousness, and that's kind of inclusive of like a broad spectrum of people. Because it's really easy on this journey, particularly if you're in the groups and you're moving with the same group and you're going deeper and deeper with one group, and that's beautiful because you create such intimacy together. But then when you sit in a group and say there's someone in the group, and I think this pertains to the collapsing of hierarchy, what I want to say, so I hope I can say it eloquently. But if we're all self-referring and just journeying with ourselves, any spectrum of experience could be being offered up by someone else in the group. And there is always a gift in you journeying with their sharing through your own experience, as you feel called to. Of course, you may not want to hear anyone, or you may be just so deep in your process, you mute them. There's no obligation. It's about following your own inner impulse. But let's say you are listening and you're following through your own experience. It's so profound how informed you can be by someone's process, and how it can offer up like a breadcrumb or an insight, or like a visitation of a facet of your own consciousness that you have been leaving out, for example. So and that collapsing of hierarchy of experience is really important to freedom, and dynamism and integration. So I'm very happy we're offering a container that's kind of, got these big wide arms, and inclusivity. And of course, everyone will have an idea of the basic recipe prior. So that's the main thing. There's like a common dialogue that people are comfortable with. Just checking if there's something else I wanted to say. Yeah, I think really when I feel internally to the retreat, I'm already in it. And I'm experiencing an immense alignment of energy to the incubator, as in this feels very precise. So I just invite you to tune in as you're listening to me, and just feel into your body, ground into silence, and just feel into whether you feel that this is the right incubator for you, whether you just feel called to be with us, like it's about resonance and just really feeling into the precision of the container. And if finances are a concern, you can get in touch with us. What's important to us is that there's that there's a spaciousness around, like there's a space for you to meet that call, and we can talk about it if finances are the only reason why you haven't got in touch. And yeah, if you have any questions, we're going to be sharing some more material. I think Lisa's going to share something soon, and I might share something more on the specificity of these eclipses. And I think that is it for now. Thank you for listening, if you still are. And yeah, I wish you a beautiful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. And I really hope to join some of you in this deep alchemical journey together. Much love, everyone.